If we're talking about Tom Cruise, you know what we're going to have to talk about after this?
What's that?
The Dark Universe.
Oh, yes! I love the Dark Universe. Let's go. Tom Cruise doesn't exactly have a reputation as the sanest man in Hollywood. Even discounting all that Scientology shit, he still shows a complete and utter disregard for his own safety and well-being. For example, consider that time while making Mission Impossible 2, Tom Cruise asked a stuntman to stab him right in the eye. It's pretty well known that in most of the movies he appears in, Tom Cruise insists on doing all of his own stunts. Which is fine, because a lot of actors do that. What's less well known though is that Tom Cruise will often suggest doing more dangerous versions of suggested stunts to make them look more realistic, and possibly because he's batshit insane.
So do you have an example of one of these stunts he wanted to be done a bit more extreme?
Yes, I do. During the filming of Mission Impossible 2, there was a scene that called for Tom Cruise's character to have a sick-ass knife fight. And while looking over the storyboards for that scene, Tom Cruise made a suggestion to director John Woo and said, maybe it'd be cooler if, during this fight scene, like the guy nearly stabbed me in the eye. To be fair to Tom Cruise, as insane as that suggestion was, it did end up looking pretty badass and is now one of the most iconic moments in the entire Mission Impossible franchise. Because this is a movie directed by John Woo, the suggestion of having someone nearly stab Tom Cruise right in the eye was of course written immediately into the scene. However, Tom Cruise, the impatient arsehole that he is, didn't want to dick around with CGI and instead suggested they do the stunt for real.
But Tom said, hey, how about just right into my eyes? You know, I said, no, Tom, it's very, very dangerous. No, I'm okay, I'm fine, you know, just use the real knife.
So they didn't use any compositing or CG for that shot?
No, it's 100% real. That shot shows a real knife being wielded by a stuntman that is actually trying to stab the Tom Cruise in his actual eyeball.
The knife literally was probably a quarter inch from Tom's eyeball. I mean, so if he sit up or move or twitch, there's a lot of maybes that makes it an interesting shot to watch.
How did they do that without actually stabbing him then?
Well, what they did is they got a length of cable, attached it to one end of the knife, ran it up the sleeve of the stuntman, and then had it go at the back of his jacket and then anchored it to the floor a few feet back. They then measured exactly how far that knife could reach and then positioned Tom Cruise just about an inch away from where that is. If you watch that scene back, and you can put the clip in for the audience at home, you will see that the knife and the stuntman's arms are shaking during that scene. And that's because Tom Cruise told him, try and stab me as hard as you possibly can. And that's the stuntman actively trying to fight the cable to stab Tom Cruise in the face to make it look as realistic as possible. That's why when you see the knife and it's shaking an inch away from Tom Cruise's eye, that's the stuntman trying to break the fucking cable to pull it off.
But you can see the end of the blade tickling his eyelashes, it's that close.
That's how close it goes. You can't CGI that kind of fear. Something I feel I need to point out as well is that that was a real knife that was really, really, really sharp that Tom Cruise insisted upon using on for maximum realism.
Why would you insist on using a real knife?
What? With everything you know about Tom Cruise, Brad, why would he not insist on using a real knife? This is a man who looked at storyboards choreographing a fight scene between his character and a guy with a knife and thought to himself, how do I make this more dangerous for me? This is a guy who then suggested to the director, how about we put in an awesome shot of a knife bristling my eyelashes? And then when the director said, oh, I don't think we can CGI that, I said, oh, no, it's fine. Use a real knife, I'm sure you can make it work. And then, when they anchored the cable to the ground and then positioned his own head an inch away from a real knife, told the stuntman, okay, now try as hard as you possibly can to stab me in the eye.
It really wouldn't surprise me if Tom Cruise got pissed off when he found out they'd put a cable in for safety.
I bet that they never told him, and in his own mind, he did that stunt for real. And that after they'd finished filming, it's like, did you see, guys? Did you see how strong I was? Did you see how I held that knife off? I'm like, oh, Tom, you've done it again. Go back to your trailer, you deserve a break. And then he's going like, you see the stuntman like desperately trying to get the cable out of his shirt.
Do you reckon Tom Cruise was watching the behind the scenes stuff and saw them doing this cable? He was like, oh, well done CGI that in for guys. So the people outside don't know how real it was.
They don't know about my ghost powers. The thing is, Tom Cruise is well known for doing this. Like in Mission Impossible 2 again, do you know the opening of the film, like the free climbing up the face of a mountain part? That also wasn't in the script. Tom Cruise suggested doing that just because he wanted to try it. And he also did it for real without safety equipment.
The scary thing was the cliff was 2,000 feet high, and there was no protection on the ground.
Surely there must have been at least some kind of precaution.
There was marginal safety equipment.
Because if you were filming that film and you wouldn't want your star to die in the first few minutes of shooting.
But at the same time, Tom Cruise has got the kind of star power where he can make those demands, and people just have to satisfy him. Because like, you want Tom Cruise in your movie, and Tom Cruise wants to go free climbing.
How much do you reckon he was insured for that film?
Too much, probably. But yeah, Tom Cruise, it was like the latest Mission Impossible one, the Rogue Nation, where he's hanging on the side of the plane. That was also real, and they showed behind the scenes footage of the real Tom Cruise strapped to the outside of a plane. I think there was safety equipment hidden through his jacket and stuff, weren't there? But that's actually the real Tom Cruise hanging on a real plane that's really flying through the air.
Whoa! Oh, what is this? What is this?
And they said, we could have got a stuntman in. And Tom Cruise was like, what do you mean, a stuntman? What is a stuntman? Like, Tom Cruise got his own version of a dictionary that doesn't have that word in it.
Do you reckon so many action stars are tall, they don't have a stuntman who's 5'7"?
That might be it. Because I don't get it. It's like the, I think it's Mission Impossible 4, where he climbs Burj Khalifa in Saudi Arabia. That was also the real Tom Cruise.
Did they get in trouble for that?
He got in trouble for it because he wrote Katie Holmes' name on top. And the best bit about that is, when he was on top of Burj Khalifa, they took a photo of him up there posing. They had a helicopter fly up. So not only is he up there without any wires or anything to keep him strapped down, there's a helicopter 10 foot away blowing wind onto him. The guy's insane, but at the same time, you have to admire the commitment he has to his stunt work. Like, one of my favourite stories about Tom Cruise is that in every Tom Cruise movie, even now that he's in his 50s, they always have the scene where Tom Cruise takes his shirt off. And do you know how he gets like so toned and so ripped?
How?
Like, according to like a behind the scenes like snippet from someone who works on one of his movies, he has a jacuzzi full of ice. That what he does is before he does any shirtless scene, he goes and sits in that for about 10 minutes to contract all his muscles and skin so he looks more ripped. Like, Tom Cruise is ridiculously committed to like just always being a badass in all of his movies. It's kind of commendable how much effort he puts in as a 55-year-old man, I think, at this point. There's something I want to mention, Brad. I don't think we're going to get another opportunity to talk about how batshit insane Tom Cruise is. Did you know that he's left-handed in real life?
Doesn't he always shoot things with his right hand?
Yes, he does. That's because all of his characters are written right-handed. So what he does is he teaches himself to use his non-dominant hand for all of the stunts that he's required to do.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because Tom Cruise is insane. And here's the thing though, Brad, like, for Mission Impossible stuff like wielding a gun with his right hand, maybe that's kind of awkward but not too difficult. Watch the film Cocktail and put a clip in of the film Cocktail where he's doing all the crazy flaring stuff, and you'll see that he's doing it all with his right hand, which means he taught himself to like cocktail flare, an incredibly difficult thing that takes months and months and practice to learn how to do, with his non-dominant hand, just because the character he was asked to play was right-handed. That's the thing that I think demonstrates how insane Tom Cruise is. He taught himself how to do this ridiculously specific skill with his non-dominant hand just because that's what the script called for. And that's just something I needed to mention because I don't think enough people appreciate the fact that he's doing all this stuff with his bad hand. So where's something we can use as an example? Have we got anything? Let's have a look what bullshit we got down here. We've got a fucking basketball. Like, everyone knows I can do the thing of spinning a basketball on my finger. Like, to do it on my left hand is like just okay. There is nothing I can do with that. You get that to Tom Cruise though, he'd be doing that while reading a book or some shit. The guy is batshit crazy. It's ridiculous. I don't understand. Like, I can't do anything with this goddamn hand, and Tom Cruise is teaching himself to cocktail flare.
What's your favourite Mission Impossible stunt that Tom Cruise did for real?
I think it's the one from Mission Impossible 3, like the really trailer bait shot where he's running away from a missile explosion and gets blown into the side of a car because Tom Cruise insisted upon doing that scene 7 fucking times.
What? Why?
Because it didn't look painful enough the first time he did it. So I'd like to remind everybody, like, Tom Cruise, a 44-year-old man at the time this movie was being made, insisted upon doing this stunt 7 fucking times because he didn't look painful enough the first time he did it.
I mean, I imagine by the 7th one, it was the most painful of them all.
Probably, yeah. The thing that gets me is like, there's the old joke, isn't there, of like Tom Cruise runs in every movie. One of the reasons he wanted to keep doing that scene over and over again is because in addition to it not looking realistic enough when he got slammed into the side of that car, he also wanted to be running at max speed when it happened. And in the behind the scenes footage, it's like they're letting a dog off a lead, where you just say, go! You see Tom Cruise just leg it and they get slammed into a thing.
So I know that I have to run at a full speed, and I just have to get out of my mind that anything's gonna happen.
It's like when I used to take my old dog to the farmer's field and let him off his lead, and you see, bomb off at 100 miles an hour. It's like, yeah. And it's like, that's what...
This was like to own
That's
Tom
what it was
Cruise.
like with Tom Cruise. It's like, go on, Tom, go on. Boom. And it's like, did you have fun? He's like, yeah. Can we do it again? It's like, we've already got the take, and I bet they didn't have any footage in fight. They probably did it about 20 times. But they said 7 because they only filmed it 7 times. They probably brought him back in after they'd finished shooting to let him do it again, just because he liked running so much. So I think the best example of that is Vanilla Sky, where they shut down all of like central New York just so he could get that shot of him running through the center of like an empty New York. And to me, that just was like Tom Cruise going, I really want to go for a run. I bet he picks movies based on how much he can run. Because that's the one that gets you, like, they shut down all of New York just so Tom Cruise could go for a jog. Just because he wanted to run really, really fast. And that's why I like the thing of, it's like letting Tom Cruise, he's like a dog just being let off its lead. You know what? Fuck it, Brad. You've done it before.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I know it's a bit more effort, but please, just find, like, put a dog head on Tom Cruise for the bit where he's running and gets hit by that missile. That's what he's doing, just letting a dog off a lead. Oh. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that Tom Cruise is a masochist who likes being hurt. But we all know what the truth is, and that truth is that Tom Cruise has no corporeal form that can succumb to earthly damage or harm.
So as promised, let us talk about the Universal Dark Universe.
I am so excited about this. For anyone who doesn't know, the Universal Dark Universe is Universal Studios' attempt to ape Marvel Studios and create a cinematic universe about all of their old monster movie franchises, and it's not going well. We've got previous videos where we talked about it, and Brad will link them below. But for now, Brad, just give me an update on what the Dark Universe is at, because I want to hear this and the audience get my live reaction to it.
So as we know, they tried originally with Dracula Untold. And then removed that from their canon.
Yeah, and then they tried again with...
The Mummy.
Obviously. Which didn't do very well.
So let's scan this list.
I've not checked this in a while because I like getting updates in videos. So what have we got? So originally they were pitching like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was attached for a while.
Yeah, he was attached as the Wolfman.
The Wolfman, and I remember losing my shit when I found that out because I wanted Dwayne Johnson to appear in it wearing just a cheap Halloween wolf mask.
And then Johnny Depp was attached as the Invisible Man.
The Invisible Man.
Because why would you pay shitloads of money and have Johnny Depp appear?
We made the joke of the fact that, what they'll do is if he's the Invisible Man, they'll put white powder on his face. And then that'll be how Johnny Depp appears in the movie. Because, movies where Johnny Depp plays a pale weirdo always do well.
I still prefer our idea of having John Cena as the Invisible Man.
And then he never wears
any makeup or is invisible.
They did take our idea, though. I also like our idea of making Brendan Fraser, bringing him back and saying like he become Van Helsing at the end of the Mummy movies, and that he's been hunting because he's got experience hunting mummies. He came back in this new Dark Universe.
We had Van Helsing was a mantle passed along, and he gets given it because he can kill mummies.
Yeah, he gets given to Rick O'Connor.
So it's basically Rick O'Connor, but with like superpowers, able to kill all this shit.
And that explains why obviously he comes back like 80 years later and is only aged 10 years. But no, they decided, no, fuck it, we're going to make Russell Crowe Van Helsing, I think.
No, he's Jekyll and Hyde.
Oh, is he? Great. An actor known for massive mood swings and attacking members of the crew. Probably a perfect person to cast as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
So, A Bride of Frankenstein was planned in 2017.
Okay. Whoa, last year! I don't remember this movie, so what happened to it?
It was pulled.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who was attached to the Bride of Frankenstein movie out of
It was
curiosity?
Angelina Jolie, wasn't it?
No.
I haven't got it listed here, but I'm
That'd
pretty
have
sure
been
it
great.
was her.
Please tell me that, oh man, Angelina Jolie with the crazy Frankenstein hair. like the
Yeah,
white
she was
stripe
rumoured
in
to
it.
be starring that role.
That'd have been great.
It was given the release date, which was...
2017. We've blown past
Well,
that.
no, the release date was February 18th, 2019.
Oh, so we're still getting a Bride of Frankenstein
Well,
movie?
no, it was set to begin filming and didn't.
Oh, okay.
So, basically, what it's saying, right? Apparently, the producers, Alex Kurtzman and Chris Morgan, have exited.
I've heard this. I've heard that no director or producer wants to work on.
So the projects have been put on hold until they can decide to
Well,
move
the
forward.
last I checked about the Dark Universe, it was that the specific building Universal built to make all these movies was just empty. Like, reporters were going to Universal Studios and looking through the windows, and there's no one inside.
No, it's just Tom Cruise sat there twiddling his thumbs
waiting for the next Mummy movie. I know, like, you shouldn't wish like failure on these studios, but it's so funny that it's so poorly handled. Come on, what else we got?
Here, I've got a quote.
You got a quote? Go on, lay it
So,
on me.
released a statement. After thoughtful consideration,
Oh, I'll bet.
Universal Pictures and director Bill Condon have decided to postpone Bride of Frankenstein. None of us want to move too quickly to meet a release date when we know that this special movie needs
Move too
more
quickly.
time to come together.
Move too quickly. They announced the entire expanded cinematic universe before a single movie had been made.
Right. In January 2018,
Okay, so that's recent.
the project was seemingly revived.
What?
With director Bill Condon reportedly assembling a production team.
Oh, wow. For a movie that's going to be released in a year's time.
Yep. So, the second film was supposed to begin filming in February 2018.
The second film of what? Is The Mummy really the first movie in this cinematic universe? And they haven't released it?
Right. The most recent update was on January 15th, apparently this year.
Okay, this year. What we got?
Omega Underground reported that the film's production team had been reassembled and that the franchise was now eyeing Gal Gadot as the lead role for Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, that's really pretty cool, but I don't think they're going to be like, wangle her, considering like she's now part of like the very successful Justice League movie in the DC cinematic universe. I saw something the other day. Do you know there's been more Marvel movies that have grossed over $1 billion than there have been DC movies in general? Like, Black Panther made more money in a weekend than the Justice League made in its entire theatrical run. And that's a movie about a cyber panther man just punching people in future Africa. And they've got the Justice League movie, which has got 3 of the most valuable intellectual properties in all of comics, teaming up, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, fuck, I want to watch Future Africa, man.
Just to clarify for people, by the way, if they want to read about this themselves,
I love this so
the information I've just read isn't on its own Wikipedia page.
Oh, no, yeah.
It's at the bottom of the Universal Monsters page.
Oh.
Yeah, Universal Monsters page. At the bottom is a 3-paragraph section on the Dark Universe.
Oh, people probably think I'm putting this on, but I do, like, every now and again, because I don't like looking up, I like other people to tell me, so I can just get the raw reaction of just, it's so bad. Oh man, I just like our idea. I think our idea is better than anything they've come up with. Like, they're paying these Hollywood bigwigs millions of dollars to come up with these shit tier movies that do like 300 million at the box office, and our idea of getting John Cena to play the Invisible Man would just make all the money in the world.